that's one of the great strengths of Michael Haseman's batting, a very straight driver. On that occasion, it didn't do him much good, cost him a few runs.
He's very strong off that front foot. I think it's well pitched up. Very strong driver of the ball, and that's something that opposition teams worked out very early on this season with Michael Haseman. And he got that 92 not out against Victoria over here at the Adelaide Oval. Suddenly all the opposition bowlers decided not to keep the ball up to him, to bowl to him on the short side. I think that's what he found during the Shield season.
Jeff Marsh in the covers. A good piece of fielding and well backed up there.
Jeff Marsh, who's been patrolling the covers all day. He's been shifting across for the left and right hander in the last over or two, but picked up cleanly, and it's not easy out there on that worn wicket area. The umpire in perfect positioning and good backing up then. He was unsighted there for a moment, the ball, and a bit of desperate cricket. Greg Shippard finally doing the retrieving. Into the 15th over, so Dennis.
And that's the extra man out at the backward square leg. Outswinger there from Sean Graff.
And Sean Graff does get his Ryan light. He tends to get the outswinger going to the right-hander. We've run in the previous over. And just a little bit of movement there. He always tends to bowl close into the umpire. And there certainly was a bit of movement then, and Michael Haseman was fortunate he didn't get an edge.
And that man that Dennis Lillee has moved back is Graham Wood, and he immediately comes into play.
It's a good piece of captaincy, that. Dennis Lillee knowing now that he's back in this game with those 2 quick wickets. And run's going to be a very important part in this game, as Tony Greig said in his pitch report. Very good conditions out there, so I should imagine that South Australia need a score of around about 220, 230 to have a reasonable chance. So
the umpire then refused to take Lawson's hat next over. There's the 7th illegal delivery from Sean Graff as he walks back shaking his head.
Quite a few players, as Ian Chappell mentioned, missing from today's game because of their test commitments in the West Indies. But one fellow that will surely be missed by South Australia is Rodney Hogg.
The other test match being played at the moment. A good lofted shot there from Haseman. Wood getting under it, and what a brilliant catch. That's a marvellous effort. He covered a lot of ground, judged it beautifully, and then completed the catch in fine fashion, and Wood is delighted with that effort.
A superb outfield catch by Graham Wood. Perfectly judged that. Whipped off the legs, it was in the air. Wood didn't come in all that quickly to start off with. He summed it up, and then that final dive and just catching it inches above the ground. In fact, it was very reminiscent of the catch that Graham Yallop took over here to get rid of Sarfraz during the test series. So Michael Haseman out, and South Australia now struggling. The loss of those 3 quick wickets. South Australia 3 for 75 in the 16th over.
Peter Sleep, the new batsman. He's a right-hander, and the wicket's 3 down now for 75. He's out there as a result of that magnificent catch taken by Graham Wood down at deep backward square leg. Ken McClay. Nice placement. Clements the fieldsman. Just one.
This was a great catch by Graham Wood in the deep. Dennis Lillee had placed him square, and Sean Graff was straying to the leg stump. Haseman picked it up, and Wood judged it beautifully, making a lot of ground. His eye on the ball, caught it inches above the ground, and kept his hands and elbows clear. A great breakthrough by Western Australia, and South Australia 3 for 75.
Yes, it didn't look as if Wood was going to get to that catch. Well fielded again, and shy down at the non-striker's end stumps there, but good fielding by these Western Australian, and that's all reflected in this catch. Having another look at that from a slightly different angle. Certainly had to make a fair bit of ground across there, and it ended with a lot of satisfaction there on the part of Wood, and burying his head right in his arms. Good catch. So Connor out there. They both have only been there for a short while, and they wouldn't be all that happy at the moment. They did, after all, get off to a very good start. Well, that's very wide. Sean Graff still having a terrible time with his direction.
He certainly is, Tony. His run-ups all over the place. He's running out and then back into the stumps. There's no smoothness about his run-up at all. And he's lost control and, more importantly, confidence. He goes out and he jumps back in and sprays it way down the leg side.
Yes, 4 wides and 4 no balls already.
Bishop and Hilditch has enabled them to take their time. And Sleep gets 2. The first wicket to fall was that of Glenn Bishop. He played very well for 24 when he tried to whip this one over mid-wicket. It wasn't short enough. He got a top edge and Rodney Marsh come around and judged the catch. 63 for 1.
Of course, the next to go was Andrew Hilditch.
Yes, 2 runs later. Hilditch was a bit unfortunate. LBW here, that seemed to be going up and over. Umpire Martin judged him in front. He was out for 33 and it was then 2 for 65. Ken McClay with 2 wickets in the 1 over. Sean Graff has been expensive, but he picked up the vital wicket of Michael Haseman. And 4 points to Graham Wood. It was a great catch, this. Skied it, hit it off his toes. Wood running some 20 metres and taking a great outfield catch. A beauty. It was 3 for 75.
Yes, that certainly was a magnificent catch, caught inches above the ground. Graham Wood, the fieldsman. That one played away on the onside. They were looking for 2. Oh, good throw. In the meantime, it's McClay again. Nice and smooth, his approach to the wicket. Oh, and he flicks that one, hits the stumps. A big appeal there for a run out, and the fieldsman out there looking very upset. Definitely some deflection off the finger there of the bowler.
That must have been very, very close. Umpire Martin again under tremendous pressure. It was drove straight down the wicket. Watch Peter Sleep drive. Ken McClay thrusts the hand out, deflects, and my word, that was very, very close. Umpire Martin running across, trying to get in position. It judges the batsman O'Connor not out.
And that one cut away nicely there by Sleep into the gap, and he comes back for 2. A little break there for the South Australians. And Ken McClay getting an edge onto that ball and onto the stumps. South Australia 3 for 88. Bowlers here, but let's have another look at that run out. The ball driven back firmly at the bowler, who goes down a little edge there off the fingers. The ball deflects back onto the stumps. And so we've established 2 things there, off the hand, then onto the stumps. All we've got to try and establish now is whether or not he was out of his ground or not. Shane Clements has been brought into the attack. He's replaced Sean Graff. That was medium pace. Just a little bit of swing there, and that one played away fine on the leg side. There would have been just a little bat in that glide by O'Connor. And this run's given there, so a little inside edge, fine.
O'Connor looking for the big glance. The bat onto pad, beats Rodney Marsh in 3 runs. Clements just angling the ball down the leg side. Connor into double figures. He's 10. King wicket. Peter Sleep, a fine driver of the ball. Be looking to hit the ball through the cover region.
Well, that's well bowled. That ball pretty wide and a little bit of movement away from the right-handed Sleep there, and he had a little flirt at that one and must have been pretty close to nicking it to Marsh.
Yes, he didn't really go after it, Tony, did he? He just sort of tried to glide it through the point region. Nearly paid the penalty.
Oh, and this could be close. Good running there by O'Connor. He was backing up very well, and that ball didn't go too quickly to the fieldsman at backward point. Led almost halfway now. O'Connor on 12, Sleep on 12. Clements to continue. And that one played to mid-wicket, and it looks to me... Oh, man. We'll just see how Clements goes, I suppose. Graff is the other man. That's played away very nicely on the onside. Beats the fieldsman at square leg. Nice timing there by O'Connor, and that brings up the 100.
And O'Connor played a fine shot on that occasion, just straight to leg stump. He whipped it away square of the wicket. Short boundaries here in Adelaide. It was beautifully placed. Brings up the 100, and they're well placed, South Australian at 25th over. 3 for 100.
Principal offender in providing South Australia with 9 extra deliveries to face.
Well fielded. Fielding has been brilliant by the Western Australians today. Greg Shippered, the man out there at mid-off.
Yes, it has been very good. One marvellous catch by Graham Wood to dismiss Haseman. And this is an indication of the desperation that has crept into the West Australian fielding. They've flung themselves at everything, and they've caught very well in the outfield. And untypically, Rodney Marsh has missed a catch behind the stumps. Dennis Lillee, however, well pleased with the situation as far as fielding is concerned.
A bit of movement in the air out there for this Western Australian bowler, Shane Clements, just moving it away from the right-hander a little.
And into the left-hander, O'Connor. Yes, there has been movement though to go through for 2. And now they're scoring at just over 4 runs per over. Clay's 10th and final over coming up.
There who's leading Western Australia in this match and will lead them in the Sheffield Shield final to be played in Perth next weekend. DK Lillee, back from Pakistan, where he played in a benefit match over there, and has the disappointment of having knocked Javed Meendad out of cricket for the moment.
Good-looking shot there, square cut, delayed, Peter Sleep, and it'll be a fairly nostalgic time, this for Dennis Lillee at the Adelaide Oval. In 1970, he made his Test debut here on this ground, a ground that must hold many fond memories for him. And now here he is playing for the last time in official matches, I suppose, for Western Australia on this most delightful surface. Theatre complex is just across the River Torrens from the South Australian cricket ground. Looking from North Adelaide, you get that sort of view, and what a week, or what a couple of weeks it's going to be here in...
Nicely placed. Stroke that from Peter Sleep. And 3 runs to him.
My word, that really was a confident stroke. It wasn't a bad delivery. It was fairly well up. It was about middle and off, and Sleep hit across the line of the ball. He picked that ball up from about middle and off and placed it to a nicety between mid-wicket and mid-on, finding the gap with admirable deliberation there.
It's the single. David Boyd, the fielder, away at deep square.
As Tony Greig said in his wicket report, this is Tony Mann, the veteran West Australian spinner, giving a backward point. Not only bowls leg spin, and obviously he's about to bowl leg spin, he's warming up. Very useful batsman too. Has scored 100 in a test match.
Well bowled by Lillee. 3 for 120.
First time in this game. Right arm leg spinner, as Richie Benner said, has a very good wrong and bowls that wrong very, very frequently. Fairly slow through the air, but quite accurate. And it's going to be interesting to see how he'll fare in this situation of the one-day game. I often feel that a leg spinner who's accurate can be a very effective force in these one-day games, these 50-over matches. Long on, not quite on the fence, and a little bit wide of the orthodox long on position.
Single to Peter Sleep. I remember playing for the Governor's 11 in Western Australia way back in about 1961, 62, when he was a schoolboy. Bowled really well against us that day. Got his name in front of the state selectors for inclusion in Colts teams, and went on to play for the state.
And not frightened to toss that ball up. Probably man very well known for his performances in test matches against India. Scored 105, going in as night watchman, that was, against India in Perth in 1977-78.
Don't see too many limited overs matches in any country where one of the bowlers will be a leg spinner. It does happen occasionally, but West Australia have taken something of a gamble here. There's no reason why it shouldn't work out quite well. This fellow's a very experienced campaigner.
Hilditch.
Once again, the fielding excellent there. Boyd coming in very fast from deep point. This pair, O'Connor and Sleep, have done a good job. The run rate now is up to 4.3 per over.
He was going for the drive. He had to change his mind as that ball dropped on him, and he just prodded it away on the offside for a single.
Good stroke there from O'Connor. He and Sleep pushing one another out there to make sure the run rate is kept up.
On this occasion, Tony Mann trying to get a little bit too much overspin, and in consequence throwing that ball far too high. And O'Connor very quick to seize upon that full toss to dispatch it straight. Boyd again, that strong arm of his, whipping that ball into Rodney Marsh. Very strong return. It really wasn't an overarm return, it was more of a sidearm return, the sort of throw you expect from Viv Richards.
Lillee's gone past the outside edge several times today. This is a pretty good batting track. There's not much movement off the seam for the bowlers. Lillee swung the ball early on. Batsman out. Bishop, Hilditch and Haseman.
Shane Clements, who's done some very good work in the field, and once again his throw has been accurate, and Peter Sleep is on his way. Tremendous throw there from backward point by Shane Clements.
West Australians have been absolutely brilliant in the field, and this could turn the whole match. They were playing very well, Sleep and O'Connor, and it was a fine throw. Sleep struggling to make his ground. Umpire Martin in good position. The ball strikes the stumps with him about 2 feet out, and a great piece of fielding by Clements. Top performance. 4 for 142.
By Shane Clements, fielding at backward point. That brings Peter Brinsley to the non-striker's end. Right-hand batsman, and also bowls a bit of right-hand medium pace, or right-arm medium pace. Plays for the Kensington Club in South Australia. Western Australia haven't bowled so well, but there's been some very good fielding. And that's come off Peter Brinsley. Listen, part of that good fielding, Shane Clements' effort here.
67-run partnership come to an end with a fine piece of fielding. Clements has been brilliant in the outfield today. And took the stump and delighted Tony Mann in the 34th over.
Sean Graff is down at third man. O'Connor coming back for the second.
41, 68 deliveries faced.
That's a good over from Boyd. South Australia 4 for 149.
They've got a lot of depth in their batting, but O'Connor on 40, Brinsley 2.
That's well driven straight down the ground. Beautifully placed by Donald O'Connor. Smashing that one away into the long boundary. A case of man's inhumanity to man there.
And Donald O'Connor dancing down the wicket using his feet. 1.5 paces down. He struck that beautifully. Lofted the ball straight down the ground. The long hit here in the Adelaide Oval brings up 4 valuable runs and takes O'Connor on to 44. Beautiful footwork on that occasion. The vaudeville man, Donald O'Connor, down the crease and struck it beautifully.
It's the second boundary that O'Connor has hit straight down the ground from the leg spinner. That's the wrong one, finding the outside edge, and O'Connor will pick up 2 for that mistimed shot.
O'Connor playing very sensibly. The opportunity of facing leg spin, he's using his feet, trying to get to the pitch of the ball. Full arc. Doesn't quite get hold of this one, but he went after it. Followed through, he's on to 46, playing very sensibly.
Once again, it's in the air, but safe, and that'll bring up the 50 for O'Connor. Takes him along to 51. South Australia 4 for 162.
The wickets in a fine partnership of 67 with Peter Sleep has placed South Australia in a good position in the 36th over.
Brinsley, a big strong man, he's locked it away over Greg Shippert at mid-on. But he's not so quick between the wickets. O'Connor really hustling him and making Brinsley come back for the third.
Well struck by Peter Brinsley. Even after this one, it was good length, got it on the up. As Ian Chappell's already pointed out, he certainly was put under plenty of pressure between the wickets. He's very slow. We see O'Connor, who runs beautifully. Brinsley looking at the ball. A little bit of danger if this throw had been good, but he made his ground. Picked up 3 runs.
It's a nice little edge there for Donald O'Connor. But Sean Graff very quickly onto that ball and saving a second run.
Nice thick edge. Very quickly down to Graff, who's got a good strong arm.
Lillee earlier today. No wicket for 34. This is his second spell. Well played. There's a gap down there. That's hit nicely down the ground by O'Connor. It's a long boundary and man is after it. They've cut it off, but if Brinsley keeps going, they make a leg 4. They do.
He clubbed that one down the ground. O'Connor didn't quite reach the boundary. It's a long hit down there, but had sufficient legs on it to allow the batsman to run through for 4. Wasn't quite to the pitch of the ball, but that didn't matter because he hit it just so well, and the placement was there, just wide of the bowler and just wide of mid-off. So Bishop and Hilditch.
Oh, inside edge, a little luck associated with that one. Whizzing past Marsh, but once again O'Connor collecting 2. No, 3. And good running by Brinsley there. A little bit of luck, but O'Connor now gone to 68.
South Australia had a bit of luck here today in dragging that one back from well outside off stump, eluding the stumps and also eluding Rodney Marsh. So 3 extra runs. O'Connor, excellent strike rate, 68 runs from only 88 balls faced. He came to the wicket in the South.
So very good flat pitch here, 199 now, South Australia. Well, nicely played, beautiful shot, 2 extra cover down towards the boundary there. And that lovely shot brings up the 200 for South Australia. Very elegant drive. 2 extra cover in South Australia, 4 for 203. Once again played away on the onside. And this time O'Connor collecting 2. His score moves on to 73.
10 runs from that last over, and that run rate, still with only 4 wickets down, they're in a good position. Saw him down in Launceston in the semi-final against Tasmania, where he patrolled the cover area. And he made some sensational saves down there. Great display of outfielding. And no doubt we'll see him perform some of those feats this afternoon.
And so 2 more there to O'Connor. 75 now. And a 10. Of course, he could use them all if he wanted to, but at the moment he's persisting with Clements. And Lillee himself getting ready to bowl the remaining 3 overs he has available. Well, that's in the air, right down the ground. This is going to be out. Sean Graff's underneath it. He's caught it, but it's a no ball. Well, the South Australians around the ground, hearts sunk. The ball went down the ground, nicely taken in the outfield. But at the end of the day, the umpire had called no ball. Umpire Bruce Martin standing there with his arm out. field there at extra cover. Marsh, the fieldsman there. So a little break for South Australia. Let's have another look at it.
Yes, and O'Connor picking up the no ball call, took the risk and holed out down to Sean Graff. Good pair of hands. I don't think Graff actually heard that call, and neither did many of the crowd. Once it was in the air, their eyes followed it all the way down there. Graff hardly had to move. So a little bit of luck there once again for South Australia. And O'Connor, he moved on to 76. He struck that one well. So 4 for 208. 20 extras in that, and good healthy scoreboard. Haseman the only player to miss out.
Oh, that's in the air, going down towards square leg. This will all be out. Yeah, oh no, he's dropped in, my goodness. Bruce Laird down there. Lillee's come in, bowled a short ball. The ball's hit straight down Bruce Laird's throat, and you wouldn't believe it, he shelled it.
A couple of lucky let-offs for O'Connor. That time should have certainly been out. Bruce Laird hardly had to move. Nice catch right in front of the eyes, and out it popped. And disappointed Bruce Laird, as it was Dennis Lillee. Costly missed that.
So in these circumstances, it certainly could prove to be a pretty costly one, because it was O'Connor, and he's going pretty well. And the loss of a wicket at this stage, had this one been caught, will certainly put the brakes on South Australia. Well, you don't see those outfield catches dropped by test players very often. Again, nice placement. And another single there to O'Connor. He's on to 79 now.
Dennis Lillee would not have been impressed with that catch going down. He's brought to try and induce one of the players into playing a false shot. He did that. Didn't receive the support from his fieldsman.
Oh, an edge, and the ball not carrying to Marsh. He tried to scoop it up, but it's gone away down to the very fine third-man boundary.
It really is amazing, Tony, when you're in luck. Everything seems to run your way in the last couple of overs. We've seen O'Connor missed. Seeing a little let off in that one then from Brinsley, just bouncing short of Rodney Marsh and producing 3 runs. So things certainly going the way of the South Australians.
He's hit that one way down towards the square leg boundary, beats the man down there. Another 4. Very good shot again by O'Connor. That ball just a little bit short and dispatched away down to the boundary at square leg.
Bad delivery from Dennis Lillee, who didn't play in the Vincent Hedges World Series Cup matches this season. He hasn't played in a lot of one-day cricket. That was a bad delivery. O'Connor the opportunity to get back onto that back foot, and on this placid Adelaide wicket, you can virtually pick the spot where you want to hit it.
A quick single, and that's good running. 11 runs from that over, and O'Connor has kept the strike. South Australia 4 for 219.
This brought about by some good batting between Brinsley and O'Connor. 78 runs the partnership.
That one's played away again, very firmly into the gap on the offside and down towards the boundary. Another 4. Yeah, certainly making these last overs count. They're playing very well at the moment.
The one thing that Dennis Lillee is going to find out, that you can't have men everywhere. You place a man at forward point, well, the bowler's got to keep it up. When it's short like that, it's just asking for trouble. That's a good shot by Brinsley. Back onto that back foot. Good back cut.
Well, that one's hit away on the leg side, bouncing down to the man at square leg. It's slightly better. Boyd, the fieldsman down there. There are 5 men on the leg side, and
Scored off almost every ball faced. And so too is the left-hander Donald O'Connor.
O'Connor at the moment really deserving his luck. He's playing very intelligently, looking for the singles, deflecting quite neatly as he did on that occasion. Dropped once when he was 75. I beg your pardon, caught off a no ball when he was 75, not out, of course. and dropped when he was 76. So the run rate for South Australia creeping up, 5.04. That was the run rate they started off at with Hilditch and Bishop. And O'Connor underneath that. He does like that square cut. He plays it pretty well, but I think Lillee just summoning up the sinews there, getting a little bit of extra bounce, and O'Connor not anticipating that bounce and playing about a couple of inches underneath it.
What a good hit. He's a powerful fellow, this Peter Brinsley. Bowls medium pace as well, and he's shown himself a very good player off the front foot out there. Not frightened to play his shots, and that was a tremendous blow.
I would say the ball currently is going up King William Street, because that went not only out of the oval but out of the ground. It went right over the bank. The spectators crane their necks looking back. It's gone, and it's gone many a mile. That was a huge hit.
And he's put him down again. Well, this is a sudden change for Western Australia. Their fielding early on was brilliant. Catching was great. And suddenly, it's all gone to pieces.
Well, the wheels have fallen off as Tony Mann there puts that one down. Back to the ranks of the fumblers. It's rather strange because the ground fielding of Western Australia has been absolutely tremendous. So he just takes the remaining piece of ice, trying to calm himself and cool himself down.
And this should be out. Although, the way they were going, you couldn't be certain. The Skipper has taken it safely and ended what was a very good innings from Brinsley. 38 he made. There's a really good knock coming at just the right time.
A very powerful hit of Brinsley, but this time he doesn't cotton on to that ball. He hits it high. It's right in the sun. It wasn't an easy catch there for Skipper, but he clutches it to his chest. The crowd rise as Brinsley departs. 5 for 204. No ball called, as O'Connor just tries to push that away. The new batsman, Wonke, Stephen Wonke, right-hand batsman, all-rounder, and the South Australian side full of these medium-pace all-rounders. Shepherd, the man who took that last catch to dismiss Brinsley. Brinsley had hit one enormous 6-over long on, this time going for the same sort of stroke. He gets underneath it, up it goes right into the sun, and Greg Shepherd there, staring into the sun, counts his blessings. He clutches that ball to his chest.
Was safely hit
away from wide of the stumps. Any justice, says Dennis Lillee, as that ball is edged down through the vacant slip position.
I just had the impression with that run out, Frank, that the umpire might have gone to the wrong side. Well, everything is happening out there at the moment. Good run there, and I don't think D.K. Lillee will be very pleased about that at all, nor will Clements. First of all, there's the catch put down.
A hard hit ball, straight to Clements, knocked it up, parried it, couldn't gather it in, threw it back to the bowler's end. The batsmen then think about going through for a single, the return coming as the fieldsman slips, the batsmen go through for a single, and the slip on the part of the field enables Winker to get home.
They used to have a thing in America when the Brooklyn Dodgers were playing baseball. They called it the Flatbush Follies. And you can see a little bit of that out there at the moment. There's a definite touch of panic on the part of the Western Australians. They've dropped catches all over the place in the last half hour, 40 minutes. Connor is the man taking strike. He's the one in the white hat, and Wonky
had to do the job, and they've scored more than 5 runs per over, 5.18. Coming in, but he cannot prevent the second run being taken. Bowled 6 overs.
And that's out. That's a good piece of fielding by Clements of his own bowling. South Australia running for everything at the moment. In this, the second last over of the innings, Clements had just the one stump to aim at and managed to throw it down.
Yes, it really was pretty good, that, because Clements really set himself there. He took his time, and he was about, 10 metres from the stumps, and just the one stump there hit, and he hit it. So Wonky is out, striding off purposefully, out for 7, 6 for 252. Batsman at the crease, the captain of South Australia, Kevin Wright, the wicketkeeper for the home side, right-handed batsman. 49th over being bowled as the clock creeps towards 1:15. And as O'Connor hammers that ball out to the mid-wicket fence. And Wonky was dismissed. An excellent piece of work this by Clements, who picks the ball up in his left hand, turns, swivels, sets himself, hits the one stump. And Wonky never had any hope of getting home.
5 men allowed outside the circle. They're all on the boundary. At the moment, 3 on the onside, 2 on the off. One of those being adjusted now at deep point.
Yep.
Running for anything at all. Play the stroke. That's safe.
Well, the gods have certainly smiled on Donald O'Connor today. Ball going high into the air, and that looks as though it's the end of the South Australian innings. With time having expired, last ball being struck by O'Connor, not towards the mid-wicket fence as he expected, but high in the air, down towards deep fine leg, but the ball falling in no man's land.
So 1:15, the scheduled time for finishing, and that means Western Australia, because they didn't bowl the 50 overs, will have only 49 in which to make 257 for victory. Fine performance that from South Australia. An outstanding effort from Donald O'Connor, 96 not out, but all the way through a nice even performance by the South Australian batsmen. They played it well, used their brains, didn't panic at all, and kept that run rate up around about 5 and over. South Australia's innings, 6 for 256 from 49 overs.
Greg Shipperd was the man who caught Peter Brinsley. 5 for 240. The next man to go was... Graham Wood can't make contact at all. Not living up to his name at all at the moment.
Yes, absolutely no Wood on the ball at the moment. As that ball goes through, and Johnston at the moment just getting a little bit of movement and just troubling Wood a little bit with a little bit of bounce too. He's a tall boy, David Johnston. He does get that ball up from time to time.
And quite a bit of movement there through the air to David Johnson. He really... Once again, plenty of bounce there for David Johnson. That was a very good over. It's 1 for 17. Record, that partnership. And that's well timed, that shot from Greg Shipperd, finding the backward square leg boundary. Very neat little deflector, Greg Shipperd.
Very strong off his pads. Positions himself well, moves inside the line of the ball, clips it off his toes with seeming little effort. But it's a fairly short boundary there towards square leg. And the outfield is extremely fast, so it didn't need much encouragement to get that ball to the boundary.
First boundary for Greg Shipperd, and the second of this Western Australian innings.
And there hasn't been a maiden over.
Shipperd soon fixes that with a lusty boundary off the last ball of that over. Just what Western Australia needed. It's 1 for 29.
Thank you, Ian. As Wood gets to the way square of the wicket. Good piece of fielding. So shot to 3. Much applause from the home crowd in this McDonalds Cup Final. And Western Australia with the job ahead of them, Tony Gregg.
Yes, certainly a pretty tough task this for the Western Australians. They haven't got off to a bad start, 1 for 32. With the South Australians out there at the moment, they are playing this game like men possessed. Ball dragged back off the boundary there, and a quick single as all the South Australian fieldsmen converge on that delivery.
David Johnson, the bowler, right arm fast bowler, bowling quite well, bit of movement into the left-handed Graham Wood from off to leg. Yep. Greg Shipperd not interested for a single net. Oh, good delivery, a bit of bounce, and he does well to keep that down and picks up a single. Johnson getting some bounce. Nice high action.
Yes, that is a very interesting delivery and pretty well played at the end by Wood too. Notice how this ball bounces and how Wood really has to adjust. He really gets his bat up in the air there. And that was a nasty delivery. Every now and again, the odd ball is bouncing, and that one could have gone anywhere. Lucky there for Wood that it went into the vacant leg slip area.
Greg Shipperd
coming in when his side was in trouble. And now the West.
It's a big hit. 4 runs, so that's striking blow from Wood, 7 off the over. 1 for 43.
It was in the semi-final back in the season of 81-82. And it's interesting to note that having had a good time in this McDonalds Cup, they've also provided the majority of the one-day international players for Australia.
Fine shot this time, it beats O'Connor. Racing out to the cover boundary, that's 4 runs. And Shipperd's in good touch here this afternoon. He's a small man, but a fine striker of the ball.
Yes, that is a lovely shot. And once again, the ball just a little short and a little wide, and played that time right into the gap. And the ball racing over this beautiful outfield down towards the boundary at point. So the Western Australians now beginning to kick it along.
Short again. Connor beautifully fielded, a chance for a run out the bowlers in, throws wide, and Wood gets home.
May well get himself a game in the big time.
It's well struck. Shipperd taking the challenge up to South Australia. Into the over, it's 1 for 49 to Graham Wood. Graham Wood just struggling for touch compared with his partner Shipperd. Great shot. 2 brings up the 50 for Western Australia, and the chase is really on here at the Adelaide Oval.
Yes, it certainly is, and Wood flaying that one away just outside off stump. A pretty free shot. The ball quite wide, went in the air, but right into the gap, and rolled away down to third man. 1 for 51, 256 the target.
bowled by Winter, just outside the line of the off stump, bit of bounce. Nice action, this lad. High arm action and plenty of outswing for the right-handed batsman.
Certainly pretty economical in his approach.
It's well bowled and well played.
Just for that deflection.
Fine shot. Beats it off. O'Connor the fieldsman and 3 runs to Greg Shippert.
And a lovely throw too from O'Connor. And chased it all the way down to the deep extra cover boundary. And he pretty effortlessly whips that one over the top. And he certainly has had a pretty good day today.
Nice deflection. You look for 2. Johnson coming across from the third man position. Good running by Greg Shippert and a fine return. Good cricket. Oh, deflected away for opportunity for an overthrow, but not going to take it. That's the opportunity for an overthrow, but not going to take it. That's the over. It's 1 for 60.
And the second goes down. No need for Greg Shippert to wait there. Carmichael picks up the second wicket. Kevin Wright, the skipper, justifiably delighted there. And South Australia are in with a big chance here.
A good delivery from Carmichael. Kept it in very tight to Shippert, who was looking to run it away through that vacant slip area. He didn't get the thick edge that he wanted. It was a thin one, and Kevin Wright did the rest. And that's a good breakthrough for South Australia. And Western Australia now 2 for 60, needing 197 runs for victory.
New batsman Jeff Marsh. Right-hander, fresh from a century against New South Wales. And Western Australia desperately need big middle-order innings here. Graham Wood is still there. 257 the target for WA.
Good breakthrough that by South Australia. Shippert, who's been in good form this summer, is playing a very good innings today, is inclined to get on with the job. And Carmichael keeping that ball in rather tight to him, not giving him a great deal of room outside the off stump. And a nice fine edge through to skipper Kevin Wright. So partnership of 49 there between Shippert and Graham Wood, and dominated by the little right-hander.
One of the reasons WA
Got to be when it's a very hot day.
Finally he's got one away down the ground. He's been trying to play that shot right from the start of the innings, and that's the first time he's really been able to get one off the centre of the bat. Second boundary for Graham Wood. 2 for 70 and 187 still needed. We're into the 20th over.
She's been waiting on a delivery like that just to try and put away, and that was well struck too. Nice and straight down the ground. Long boundary that. Had no problems getting there, which indicated that it was good timing. There, that now, just nudging the ball around. Prepare to pick up the quick single. And Clements was out, dragged one back, an inside edge, and back onto the stumps. And Brinsley claiming that wicket. Clements out for 9 for the first wicket at 11. So that was not the type of start that Western Australia wanted to get off to. Good partnership of 49. The Adelaide Hills and the City. Not much action there today, but there is plenty here at the Adelaide Oval. And that was from only 49 overs. Jeff Marsh has got him way down the ground. No trouble there in running 4, as is often the case here at the Adelaide Oval, which is a long, thin ground. Short on the sides and great ground for hookers and cutters. That was a very good shot by Jeff Marsh too. Perfectly safe shot. Going for the one straight down the ground, and that's prompted Kevin Wright to do away with his mid-on now. And he's dropped him deeper, so that's an immediate effect. Jeff Marsh, now there's plenty more singles out there. And good tactics.
Partnership being between Brinsley and the man who fielded there in the covers, Donald O'Connor, from the Western Australians. That's a good shot from Jeff Marsh. These two were involved in a tremendous partnership at the Sydney Cricket Ground. One that assured Western Australia of getting the final at the Wacker Ground. That took them to the top of the, or kept them at the top of the Shield table.
And they're continuing on here today, and that was a fine on drive for 4-all run. Marsh on the right, Wood on the left. And Jeff Marsh was a very promising player. He was very well straight down the ground, very strong off his pads. He's moved to 14, Wood's 31. Both in-form batsmen.
Good piece of work there. It's David Johnson at square leg. Michael Haseman at point.
South Australia.
Peter Sleep is the man out at deep mid-wicket. Single, 2 for 95. That's a well-placed shot by Graham Wood, getting it away fine. Ian Carmichael, the fielder. Graham Wood has been in a moment. There's quite a big gap there. And lofting on this occasion in front of the wicket. And a much-needed boundary there from Graham Wood.
Brings up the 100, and that's a confidence builder also for Graham Wood, who's a fine player, a very dangerous player. Timed that beautifully. Just what the doctor ordered. Onto the front foot. Bottom hand took control of the shot, and he whipped it nicely forward a square for 4. Wood onto 41.
Can't quite time that square cut today.
Foot.
And he's not happy with himself at the moment. It's 2 for 101.
Beautifully played. Johnson coming back. Gave himself a bit of room and thrashed it through cover. Real confidence builder for Marsh. All of a sudden, Western Australia taking up the challenge. Johnston, no wicket for 20. Minsley 1 for 32.
Between Queensland and Western Australia will be played at the Wacker ground. Marsh very strong on the onside. And this partnership really starting to blossom now. And in fact it moves to 50 with that 3 from Jeff Marsh.
Once again, a beautiful on drive, the second one he's played today. Well, he puts the half volleys away, Jeff Marsh, and that was timed beautifully. Quickly picked up the length and rolled the wrists and beat the man at mid-on. And all of a sudden the pressure has been applied to the South Australians. First time really in this match.
Runs coming in that over. Marsh and Wood have shown an inclination in the last couple of overs to really get on with things.
Western Australia are going to win this game.
It's really closing the face on those of his mistiming so many shots. Glenn Bishop is it deep, long on. Western Australia 2 for 112. Good quick good delivery there from David Johnson. Bit of movement off the seam.
David Johnson bowled a fine first spell, plenty of movement. This one cut away from the left hand a long way. It's well played by Graham Wood. Fine delivery this. Close to the stumps and plenty of movement.
By Donald O'Connor. Graham Wood skips through for a single. Once again, Wood giving himself room, but he's hit it straight to Glenn Bishop, and Bishop has accepted the chance. Graham Wood frustrated into that shot with some bad timing, and that's a very important wicket for South Australia.
It was very well caught. He was on the move, judged it beautifully. And Wood departs. One key up there, short of a length, and Bishop made some ground, caught it well. The second wicket, the third wicket falls. 117.
Rather a surprise here. David Boyd, who was listed to come in at number 10, comes in at the fall of the third wicket. It's quite a hard-hitting batsman, but I'm afraid I've never yet seen a slogging tail-ender that can outscore a respectable batsman, certainly not for any length of time. That one, O'Connor in the covers. Not much has done that.
It's a variable wicket by Wanke. Wood frustrated and hitting down the ground. Picked it up well, but Glenn Bishop took a well-judged catch. That was the wicket that South Australia needed. 3 for 117.
Glenn Bishop was the man who took the catch. David Boyd trying to lift that run rate of 3.86. He's very strong on the onside. Side. Been lifted in the batting order, coming in at the fall of Graham Wood's wicket. And that's the way he likes to hit. Way on the onside. Peter Sleep is the man at mid-wicket. Successful over there for Wanke. Western Australia 3 for 120.
And this was the ground we showed you the Victor Richardson Gates before. short boundaries. Suits big hitters, particularly those hitters that hit square of the wicket.
Southgate's at mid-wicket as Marsh hits that one down the ground to mid-on. And that's the end of the over.
On the right, taking plenty of time about placing his field. 3 for 125. 17 runs in arrears, the South Australian total after 32 overs.
This could well have been an over which went for 10. Always hit that. It's in the air. It might be down to the boundary. One bounce over the boundary at square leg for 4. That's a good shot to Marsh. So 6 runs off the over. 3 for 130. Once again, a cross-batted club attempted, but the ball went nowhere. And that's in the air and over the top of the head of the mid-off fieldsman, who's having to run away down towards deep extra cover.
A little bit of a problem out there at the moment with David Boyd. He's the running between the wickets. The tail ender, he's probably not used to running the quick singles and the quick twos and the quick threes, and so far. But I've noticed a couple of occasions
And that's hit nice and straight down the ground. It could be out. There's a man underneath it. He's gone. That's a big breakthrough there for the South Australians. Marsh out, caught in the deep log on. And all the South Australians rushing out there to gather around Bishop, who made the catch.
And Glenn Bishop's second catch. The one to give Graham Wood a few overs ago, and a good one. A little bit deeper this time, one a little bit more difficult too. Held up in the air. A little bit of frustration crept into the play of Jeff Marsh. And that's another good wicket for South Australia. Western Australia now 4 for 141, needing 116 for victory.
And so Rodney Marsh striding out to the Adelaide Oval for the last time. With applause here from this pretty good crowd in the McDonalds Cup Final. Rod Marsh striding out now to see what he can do about the plight of the West. 4 for 141, 256 they need. And already 35 overs gone.
And Stephen Monkey getting his second wicket through some good tight bowling, inducing Jeff Marsh to go for the big hit straight, and he holed out down at deep mid-on. So that was a good outfield catch by Glenn Bishop. Good pair of hands. Summing it up beautifully and taking it right in front of the eyes, wrapping both hands around it. And what great team spirit it was by the South Australians. Everyone run down to him, and you can see that they feel as though they're in with a real big chance in this match. Need about 8 runs and over. And this is the man that'll try and do something about that to lower that.
And so Marsh about to face his first ball. And straight away is off the mark, playing that one characteristically away on the leg side.
Things for certain. If Western Australia to go down, they'll go down fighting.
Bowled him. Well, hit in the air, and he tried to hit that one into the members' pavilion and didn't connect and got comprehensively bowled.
And the decision by Dennis Lillee to elevate David Boyd up the batting order has not worked, and it was pretty well predicted by Ian Chappell as soon as he saw him coming down the steps. Good delivery by Carmichael, concentrating on the leg stump, giving him nothing at all outside the off stump to swipe at, and tilting back that leg stump. So that's the 5th Western Australian man to go. Out bowled by Carmichael. A very jubilant South Australian side. This Western Australia now 5 for 144.
Bruce Laird is the new batsman, and that first ball beating him outside off stump. Laird, plenty of experience and batting down the order. Normally an opener, this will test all his experience, only to come in and get on with it right from the word go. Ian Carmichael, the bowler. It's nicely played away down to third man. So Laird now off the mark. When Marsh tried to smash that one away to the short boundary, I think may have got a little bit of bat on that. If he didn't, it will seem to go away very quickly, and Marsh collects 3. We'll keep an eye on the umpire. He's not going to signal leg buys, and so that was a little bit of luck for Rod Marsh. He has a little glance at the bat, top edge perhaps.
Yes, in more ways than one, Tony, a little bit of luck. The fact that it produced a few runs, but it's often that type of shot where the ball comes back into the face, and Rodney Marsh then was quick to realise that it's got a top edge and turn the face around, bearing in mind this was the ground on which Rodney Marsh suffered that nasty accident. Off the bowling of Azim.
It's in the air, over the top of Midoff's head. He's hit that firmly, and that'll probably carry down to the boundary at deep Midoff. So 4 runs to Rodney Marsh. That was a pretty firm blow. He hit it very hard, just clearing the outstretched fingertips of the mid-off fieldsman.
That was a great try down at mid-off. Andrew Hilditch getting right off the ground. Just couldn't make that extra 5 or 6 inches. A good hefty blow by Rodney Marsh. His intentions are pretty clear. The man at mid-off, he's been dropped back already. So 100 runs needed now by Western Australia. They need to come home at around about 8.2 and over.
And they need 8.15. Marsh should be the danger man. Oh, and he's hit that one high and is going down towards square leg, over the top, 6. So Rodney Marsh has managed to get one away in that direction. He's hit a fair few 6s, as I said before there, and that's just another one.
Already this over, they've got the 8 runs. In fact, they'd exceeded that. Great blow, that by Rodney Marsh, going down the one knee. Just short of a length for him, and just went with it. That was an effortless shot by him. He loves hitting them down there. That went right in that area where he put Lance Cairns over against New Zealand a couple of seasons ago. Shortish boundary.
That's a slow ball, and Marsh not being tempted. Here's Winter.
And Marsh going for the hefty drive over mid-off, finds the ball slices away. And in spite of the fact that that ball did not go where it was intended, Marsh still picks up 2 runs. Very open face of the bat there from Rodney Marsh. He's going for the big hit towards the leg side. And swinging across the line of the ball, just slices that ball away down towards deep third man.
Dennis Lillee. And another one gone. Good bowling there, but Laird had to keep going. A chance of picking up runs. Western Australia now deep in trouble.
It was a classical piece of one-day cricket, with Winter keeping the ball well up on leg stump. Laird forced to play across the line of the ball, seeking runs, and loses his leg stump. So now Western Australia in deep trouble at 6 for 166. The new batsman, Chris Shaungraf, left-handed batsman, replacing Bruce Laird, who recently departed the scene, the victim of Graham Winter.
Now 2 left-handers in, and both of them big hitters. Shaungraf, recognised as one of the strongest hitters in Australia. And he has 12 overs to play with. It's the real problem.
And that was Bruce Laird. Good delivery there from Winter, about leg stump, well up. Laird trying to whip the ball away, playing across the line. And the leg stump rocked back.
fielded. And fielding like tigers out there now, as indeed Western Australia did early on. A chance there. Johnson, in fact, has been unlucky today in that early spell. He beat the bat quite a few times and also had the ball jumping up quite sharply from just short of a good length.
Yes, he does have the capacity to make that ball move. On that occasion, it moved off the wicket. And Wright, going for the catch, seemed to have his glove above the ball level.
That's a fine blow from Rodney Marsh. Spotted the gap out there through cover. 4 runs to him, 6 for 176. So Marsh is making the best of it here. Scores racing along, 183 now. Very important for Western Australia that this pair stay together. Got to keep the scoreboard ticking along at a fantastic rate. They mustn't lose another wicket. They're the 2 big hitters in this West Australian side.
7 runs have come from this over from Winter so far. And that's just about par. That's what's needed. 8 runs, in fact, just another single required to keep Western Australia up with their task. He prepares to face up to Johnston, who's now in his 9th over and requires...
Great shot. Beautiful stroke from Sean Graff, who's one of the best timers of the ball in first-class cricket in Australia.
Well, this is just the tonic that Western Australia need. That ball just out of the reach of that man diving at point. O'Connell making a gallant effort to get across to that, but the ball timed so very well that it just clicked off the surface of grass mat. And those 4s are just what Western Australia need.
That might not have come off the middle of the bat, as did the stroke the previous ball, but it's still good enough for 3 runs.
In 13 minutes, I'm told, and there's...
That's safe. 29 runs have come now in only 19 balls since Graff came to the crease to join Marsh. South Australian fielding, which has been so good, just slipping a fraction there.
Yes, they're not having the best of luck in the field. Once more, that to snick from Rodney Marsh, just going outside the reach of the stretched out Kevin Wright, just going over his head. So a few chances not quite going to hand, and that's desperate luck for South Australia, but good luck for Western Australia.
Good long batting lineup. Tony Mann and Ken McClay still to come. Both of them very capable batsmen and also very aggressive. Rodney Marsh looking to swing away on that onside mostly. And he's been very effective in one-day games this season. As you can see there, 43 runs from 25 deliveries. He's had a good year.
He's crashed that. That's a glorious shot. Beats O'Connor at cover. Sweep. Magnificent Peter sweep. Sticks the shot to 3. Beautiful piece of fielding. And Peter Sweep's had a fine day in the outfield. A good return to the bowler's end.
Very good fielder, Peter Sleep. Very mobile, and he has a strong arm. And on this occasion, a desperate dive. It's only 1 run, but could be the difference in such a close finish.
Sweep on the fence at cover. Graff on strike. It's up in the air. Cover's coming in. There's a bit of confusion. And he's dropped it. It was always on. He looked the wicketkeeper right. It was in the sun. They panicked. And the pressure showing on the young South Australian team. That was really a sitter. Middley is looking into the sun, but he was looking for somebody else to take it.
Top edge there from Sean Graff. And the mistake was made by the bowler. He actually called out to the fieldsman to take it. The fieldsman being Graham Winter, looking right into the sun. And really the call should have been for Kevin Wright, the man with the gloves, and he would have also been running with his back to the sun. Would have been a lot easier catch for him, plus he has the gloves on.
Marsh gets this to mid-wicket, doesn't take a single. Haseman, the fieldsman. Well, the pressure here enormous at the Adelaide Oval in this final. Got a top edge, went straight up in the air. You see wicket-keeper Wright making a move, but it was left to Winter. All the time in the world, it went straight through his hands, and a run to Graff and a let-off. 6 for 213. Marsh lashes onto that. That's his favourite spot. Crash into the fence. 4 more. 50 for Rodney Marsh, and what a beauty. Under enormous pressure. We've got a standing ovation when you come onto the ground today. 51 minutes, 32 deliveries. It could be a match-winning half-century by Rodney Marsh.
The South Australian crowd are applauding, but they're not standing now. Not quite so convinced that South Australia can win this match, I don't think. And Marsh hitting away to his favourite mid-wicket area for a 4th boundary.
That's the single. A tremendous pressure. It's in the air. Sleep's coming around. You can't see he slips. Just a single. Didn't pick it up, Peter Sleep, in the sun. No cap. Slipped at a vital stage there. Just a single to Rodney Marsh.
And the South Australians letting their opportunity slip here. Drop catch. Sean Graff being put down earlier. And then one that should have been taken there by Peter Sleep.
As well. Hot drop.
This has been a good over so far from Graham Winter. Just 3 runs coming.
It's beautifully bowled into a very good over. 6 for 226 as the crowd roars at the Adelaide Oval. And he goes out to the man out there. He's under it. And he's caught him. The wicket they needed so badly, South Australia. Well caught. Rodney Marsh struck that beautifully. A tremendous innings from Rodney Marsh. But this time he couldn't beat the fieldsmen. They run from everywhere, the South Australians. Wonky takes the catch, and it's 7 for 226.
Fighting knock from Rodney Marsh, but he lived by the sword and eventually fell that way. Well caught in the outfield by Stephen Wonky. A well-hit shot, but he pretty well always goes to mid-wicket. And that was well taken by Wonky after South Australia had missed a couple of previous opportunities. Marsh out for 54, Western Australia 7 for 226.
Walk slowly to the centre of the Adelaide Oval. The dying overs of the McDonalds Cup for 1983-84. Rodney Marsh, the last man out. He struck that well. Wonky, fairly straight mid-wicket, took the catch. And there's a mistake by wicketkeeper Wright, and they pick up a single. 7 for 227.
That was well taken by Stephen Wonky. They'd already dropped Sean Graff from a skied catch in the infield. And Peter Sleep hadn't got to one in the outfield. Hit out there by Rodney Marsh. And eventually it was Wonky who brought the hard-hitting keeper's innings to an end. Ken McClay is a pretty useful tail-end batsman. Has the ability to hit pretty hard. And he likes to hit straight. At the moment, there's no one straight on the offside. that could be where McClay goes.
Caught him, O'Connor, what a game for him at cover. Dive forward as McClay crashed it into the covers, and Donald O'Connor took a great catch. A beauty. Play out without scoring.
And McClay hit straight to Donald O'Connor. Played a magnificent innings for South Australia, and now he's probably made a certainty of this cup final for the South Australians, dismissing Ken McClay for a duck, and the 8th Western Australian wicket is down with the total on 227.
Comes to the crease for Western Australia with a score of 8 for 227. He replaces Ken McClay. Out first ball. Caught at short cover.
Wasn't a bad shot, that, by Ken McClay. It was an even better catch. O'Connor diving forward, that's not an easy thing to do. And Western Australia require 30 runs, and there are 17 balls remaining.
O'Connor in again. Single. 14 balls remaining. 29 runs required, 2 runs per delivery, with only 2 wickets in hand, and Carmichael with 4 wickets at the bowler. Graf on 21, the batsman on strike. Charge and crash down to mid-off by Graf. Well fielded, just the single, and that's good fielding. Bishop in the deep. It's been superb today. 2 fine catches. He moved beautifully to that part. It's well played, but it's protected at cover point on the fence. Just a single.
Tony Mann is quite a competent batsman. Scored a century for Australia in a test match, coming in as a night watchman. That was in Perth against the Indians, and he's quite a hard-hitting player. But the task is pretty difficult now. 26 from 11 balls.
Graf looking for 2. It's down to third man. He's in quickly. It's going to be very close. It'll be out if the throw's good. The throw's high, but he's there. The bounce enabled Graf to make his ground. Great effort by Graf. He took the chance, put the pressure on the fieldsman. Home safely.
Stephen Wonke is the man down at the third man. It was a good return, just bounced a little high, and that gave Graf enough time to beat the return. The risk had to be taken. Graf was the man who's been there for quite some time. He had to get back on strike, and he's really got to hit a couple of boundaries.
Into the bowler. Swing and a miss. Not hitting straight, hitting square. Pressure really on Shaun Graf. 9 balls remaining. Short boundaries here, square of the wicket on the onside. There's a look in that direction. 2 wickets in hand. That square, the man's charging in. Hilditch is going for the second. The throws to the bowlers in. This time there's confusion. This is a bad for sure. Tony Mann out as they walked in the middle. A great throw from Hilditch in the deep. He's fielded brilliantly today. 9 for 233.
Very poor running by Tony Mann. Always had to go back for the second there. Shaun Graf was awake to the situation. He was off and running. But Tony Mann hesitated. Graf was always going for the second. In fact, there was 2 there if Mann had gone originally. And then, just to make matters worse, another hesitation in the middle of the wicket. Tony Mann is run out, and Western Australia 9 for 234.
The victory, 7 balls remaining. South Australia, the underdogs, have never won the McDonalds Cup. Western Australia won last year, 1982-83. Dennis Lillee played his first test match here on the Adelaide Oval, took 5 wickets against the Englishmen in 70-71. Now he comes out as captain, as right The South Australian captain makes the move. Dennis has a discussion with Sean Graff on 25. Winter. Swing and a miss by Dennis Lillee. It's the over.
Australians, particularly after this mix-up. That was the mix-up remaining. 22 runs required from just 6 balls.
Ian Carmichael, the bowler. 4 wickets today, comes in to Sean Graff. It's well struck. Racing out towards a square leg boundary, and that's 4. That's a great start to the over. That's the first one needed by the Western Australians. And the big hitting Sean Graff score a boundary off almost every delivery.
So Ian Carmichael's got to get it up in the block hole, straight on the stumps. 5 balls to go, 18 runs, so it requires boundaries off virtually every ball.
It's in the air, mid-on's going back, it's safe. 2 runs to Sean Graff. Now it's a 6 or 2 now for Western Australia. Sean Graff's a big hitter, he's a big man.
So it now requires a boundary from every ball.
Got that out to the man at deep mid-wicket, just a single. So victory within grasp now for South Australia. Carmichael, look at them, they are aware of it. The cheer squad, the South Australia cheer squad, the underdogs today, South Australia. Big crowd here for the final. Kevin Wright, the captain, wicketkeeper captain. 15 runs for victory, 3 balls remaining. Dennis Lillee gets it down to cover point, but just the single.
That was a very good delivery from Ian Carmichael, right in the block hole. Dennis Lillee likes to go over mid-wicket. In 4 for 45, Carmichael.
Watch got hold of this one, it's going down the ground. Going to the third, no, sent back, just 2 runs. So victory here for South Australia. 1 ball remaining. Ian Carmichael, the ball, had his 10th and final over. 12 runs for victory, 1 ball remaining. So South Australia are the winners of the McDonalds Cup. Graff on strike. Gets hold of that, it's racing out towards a cover boundary, but it'll only be at least 2. So victory for South Australia. And Graff makes his ground, but that's it. A great victory by the young South Australians. The winners of the McDonalds Cup for 1983-84.
Tremendous performance there, and Kevin Wright and his teammates delighted. So South Australia not only winning the McDonalds Cup, but they have the man of the match, Donald O'Connor, getting that award for his 96 not out and his brilliant fielding. Dennis Lillee leaving the ground, the South Australian cricket ground, for the last time. A defeated skipper, but it was a good performance. They reached 249 in the chase. Always a very good game of cricket. Well, that's all the cricket we have for you on Nine's Watch.